You've watched 47 YouTube videos on dropshipping. You've built 3 Notion dashboards. You've compared LLC versus sole proprietorship. You've researched taxes, payment processors, logo psychology, color theory, and the optimal time to post on Instagram. And somehow, you still haven't made $1. Meanwhile, someone you know, who you're pretty sure isn't as strategic as you, started flipping couches from Facebook Marketplace and is quietly making $2,000 a month. And you're thinking, how is that possible? I'm smarter than this. Yeah, let's talk about it. My name is Prime, and I spend way too much time thinking about how smart people accidentally sabotage their own financial growth. If you're someone who has high standards, does a ton of research, wants to do it right, but somehow never actually launches, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're going to talk about why side hustles fail for smart people but work shockingly well for average ones. And it comes down to one brutal difference: overthinking versus execution. The assumption that's killing you. Here's the assumption most intelligent people make: if I think it through properly, I'll reduce risk and increase my odds of success. Sounds reasonable, logical, responsible, but here's what most people don't realize. In side hustles, thinking reduces risk theoretically. Execution reduces risk practically, and those are two very different things. The smart person trap. Smart people optimize before they validate. Average people validate before they optimize. That's it. That's the whole game. But let me explain. Let's say you want to start a digital marketing side hustle. You research competitors for 3 weeks, study pricing models, watch tutorials on client onboarding, compare software tools, draft the perfect website. Meanwhile, someone else messages 30 local businesses, gets 2 to say yes, underprices, delivers something messy but decent. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Let's do the math. The math nobody talks about. You spend 3 months researching. That's roughly 90 days. Let's say you could have landed just one $500 a month client in that time if you started immediately. That's $1,500 lost in month 1 to 3. But here's the compounding effect. If that one client refers you to another, now you're at $2,000 a month. Over 12 months, that's $24,000. But because you delayed execution, you lost not just $1,500, you potentially delayed a $24,000 income stream by an entire year. And this is conservative. According to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 20% of small businesses fail in the first year. But that also means 80% don't. Most failures aren't from lack of intelligence, they're from lack of consistent execution. And according to a 2023 survey by Guidant Financial, over 28% of small business owners said they started their business because they were ready to be their own boss, not because they had a perfect plan. Average execution beats elite theory every time. The psychological cause behind overthinking. Let's zoom out. Why does this happen? Why do smart people stall? Because smart people are trained to avoid mistakes. School rewards correct answers, well-thought-out essays, strategic planning, risk reduction. Side hustles reward volume, speed, imperfect action, resilience. Those are completely different skill sets. You were trained for exams, not for entrepreneurship. And here's the psychological shift. Overthinking feels productive. Execution feels risky, so your brain chooses comfort disguised as preparation. You're not lazy, you're protecting your identity, because if you try and fail, now it's not theoretical anymore. Now it's real. The average person advantage. Now, you might be thinking, so are you saying I should be dumb? No, I'm saying average people accidentally use a strategy that works better in the early stages. They don't know what they don't know, so they start. They don't calculate opportunity cost. They just post the listing. They don't analyze market saturation. They test demand. They don't optimize funnels. They send DMs. Here's an analogy. Smart people try to design the perfect map before walking. Average people start walking and adjust based on terrain. Guess who reaches the destination first? The compounding of action. Let's talk about volume. If you send 5 cold emails a day, that's 150 per month. If 2% convert, that's 3 clients. If each pays $400 a month, that's $1,200 a month. Now compare that to spending 30 days perfecting your logo. Logo revenue equals 0. And here's what most people don't realize. The first version of your hustle is supposed to be embarrassing. That's data collection. The market teaches you faster than research ever will. Perfectionism is expensive. Let's quantify this. Say you want to start a YouTube automation side hustle. You spend 2 months researching niches, buy a $1,000 course, study algorithms. Someone else uploads 20 mediocre videos in 30 days. You upload 0. Even if their first 18 videos flop, 2 might gain traction. Those 2 might bring in $200 a month in ad revenue within 6 months. And once something works, they double down. You're still watching tutorials. Perfectionism is not free. It costs time, and time costs money, and money compounds. The identity crisis. This is where it gets really interesting. Smart people often tie their identity to being competent, so they avoid environments where they're beginners. But side hustles require being bad first. You have to send awkward pitches, build ugly websites, make cringe content, undercharge. That feels beneath you. But the average person doesn't have that ego barrier. They'll look silly, and because they're willing to look silly, they get paid. The hidden math of iteration. Let's compare 2 timelines. Person A, the overthinker, research 3 months, launch month 4, revenue month 6. Person B, the executor, launch week 1, mistakes weeks 1 to 4, first revenue week 5, optimization month 2. By month 6, person B may already be at $2,000 a month while person A is just validating. That 5-month gap, if it's $2,000 a month, that's $10,000 difference. And now compound that over 3 years. 10,000 times 3 equals $30,000 minimum gap. And that's conservative. Execution has a compounding curve. Overthinking has a flat line. The illusion of intelligence. Look, intelligence is incredible, but in business, speed beats IQ. According to research from Harvard Business Review, successful entrepreneurs often score high in action orientation, not necessarily higher in analytical reasoning compared to corporate professionals. Translation? They move, they test, they adapt. They don't sit in hypothetical land. And here's what most people don't realize. The market doesn't reward potential, it rewards output.
The objection. But planning matters. Now you might be thinking, Prime, planning matters. I don't want to waste time. You're right. Planning matters. But planning should be 10%. Execution should be 90%. Your first version is not your final version. It's your experiment. You don't need the perfect business structure, a brand identity, automation tools, 15 productivity apps. You need 1 offer, 1 channel, 1 customer. That's it. The 30-day execution framework. Let's get practical. Here's what I want you to do if you're serious. Week 1, offer clarity. What problem are you solving? Who specifically has that problem? What's the simplest version of your solution? No website, no branding, just clarity. Week 2, volume outreach. 100 direct messages, 50 emails, 20 calls. Track responses. Don't adjust emotionally, adjust statistically. Week 3, delivery and feedback. Deliver imperfectly. Ask what could be better, fix only what customers mention. Ignore random opinions. Week 4, double down. If something converts, repeat it. If nothing converts, tweak the offer, not your ambition.
That's how average people win. Relentless repetition. The emotional reality. Let's be honest. Overthinking feels safe. Execution feels like exposure. When you launch, people can judge. When you don't launch, your idea stays perfect in your head. But perfection in your head doesn't pay rent. And this is the shift. Side hustles are not academic projects. They're market experiments. You're not trying to prove you're smart. You're trying to generate cash flow. Here's what most people don't realize. Your first goal isn't freedom. It's momentum. If you can generate $500 a month extra, that's $6,000 a year. Invested at 8% annual return, in 10 years, that's over $90,000 compounded. But that only happens if you start. Delay kills compound growth. Execution fuels it. The brutal truth. Smart people fail at side hustles not because they lack ability, but because they overestimate the importance of strategy and underestimate the power of repetition. They want certainty. The market rewards courage. They want optimization. The market rewards output. They want guarantees. The market rewards persistence. The final shift. Here's the mindset I want you to adopt. I'd rather look stupid for 30 days than stay broke for 5 years. Because here's the thing. The person who starts messy this month will outperform the genius who waits for perfection next year. And once execution becomes your default, your intelligence becomes a weapon. Now you're not just thinking, you're thinking and moving. That's dangerous. Look, you don't need another video, you don't need another course, you don't need more preparation. You need one imperfect action today. Send the message, post the listing, upload the video, pitch the client. Here's what most people don't realize. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after evidence. And evidence only comes from execution. So stop protecting your ego. Start building your income. My name is Prime, and if this helped you, hit subscribe. Now go take action. I'll see you in the next one.